We're rolling. No one can get any bikes these days. Have you heard?
I've heard.
Can't get a bike.
No, you can't. You can't. In fact, most brands have wait lists that are pushed out till spring, summer, and even next fall.
So this is, what is this, David?
This is the Banshee Prime V3. This has the KS2 suspension design, which the KS stands for Keith Scott, the designer of these bikes. So it's a dual mini link setup with the upper link being the rocker. But what's really neat is that they actually use a forged shock cage, is what they call it. So this lower section here is forged two halves that are welded together. And this is meant to isolate shock loads. And then they actually use ribbed tubing here, so for extra stiffness in the rear, with their novel adapter design here to move between 142 or 148 boost.
So you can run it either way?
Yeah, so if you have an old wheel set that you're not willing to let go of yet, boom, buy this and you can pick your dropout kit to associate.
And then also adjust the geometry right at that dropout.
Right. And what's nice is it's at the wheel, so it doesn't affect leverage rate or shock tune or anything like that.
Yeah. So I contacted these guys because my buddy Winnie's friend Kyle, who I only know as Bam Bam.
Kind of a fitting name.
Yeah. He rides a Banshee and he loves the brand. That dude is he's like Todd Miller. He's like power bundled tight and just like ready to go off. And at a Scutney when we rode, I guess it was just him and Mike actually that day. The first time he ever saw the grassy knoll, he blasted through it and got the Strava KO on site riding it.
Yeah.
With Mike on his wheel.
That's pretty impressive.
And
it's really impressive.
And it is.
I mean,
it's really impressive.
The amount of riders that go through there alone, and so that's crazy.
I know. So he's awesome, and because based on his endorsement and Mike's endorsement, I contacted these guys. They've been amazing to deal with, and the bikes look incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I had heard of the brand years ago because they had a scene in the free ride community. They have been ahead of the curve in terms of progressive geometry, in retrofitability for older parts. In fact, one of the neat things that most people won't need, but they had a crown race adapter in the box so that if you're still an old free rider who's got a straight steer tube, single crown fork, boom, you can run it on their frame. Wow. And it's little thoughtful details like that I think set them apart from a lot of the other brands. But yeah, look at this finish too. I mean, what brands are putting out raw finished aluminum frames?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. So putting together a build's been a little bit of a challenge.
A little bit.
Can't get bikes because you can't get parts.
Right.
You found parts.
We found parts. Yeah, we found parts.
Okay,
and
so take us for a tour.
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
So a bike like this, the Prime is 135 millimeters of travel in the rear, and you can run either a 140, 150, or 160 travel fork up front. It's a 29er, and they peg it as kind of their all-mountain trail crusher bike. Less of the playful dancing around, tech, but more you can plow, but still is a great all-day pedaling bike. So I thought, well, let's look at what's available, and then let's spec from there. And when I saw that this beautiful red Z1 in coil was available, then it was a match made in heaven. And so we had to do with that. And then we actually had this Pro Taper stem laying around. I'd been hoping a customer would pick this up because I just love the machining on this. It's super burly. Grabbed a bar to match, and what do you know, we have probably one of the most gorgeous looking frames in the area just sitting here. So from then it was the decision of, well, what should we do for other parts that are available, and if we can actually kind of give our West Hill shop taste to it. And I just thought of this, it kind of matches West Hill's colors, red and yellow.
Sure.
And if you want to call gold yellow.
Oh, absolutely.
We decided to go with the Kira 4s.
Those are deliciously trashy. That is
Yes.
a lot of anodized gold.
Yes.
Can it will it focus if I bring it close?
When it came to silver, gold, or black, we obviously went with the best color available.
That is hideous.
What's neat about
that is amazingly hideous. That's a 4-pot brake.
Yeah, and this brake was originally a 2-pot version only.
Yeah.
and it was incredibly powerful. In fact, their sponsored riders on the World Cup DH circuit were running the 2-pot version, and they were doing a lot of testing.
Who runs 2-pot?
Right. I guess the same guys who were willing to run guides. And so then Shimano slam out of parts, and also SRAM has difficult availability. So I stumbled upon this new group set from TRP.
And you stuck with the Eurotrash Gold trim pack.
Yes. Yeah, it's a 12-speed group set. It's
and it's got the funkiest ratchet. How does this thing go? Okay, so ratchet. In extension, it's kind of stiff, and when it comes back, it clicks like that. And what's this other? Where was that lever you were telling me about? Up here.
Yeah, so up here on the B knuckle, this is called the Hall Lock. Aaron Gwynn helped design this group set, and his mechanic John Hall gave a lot of input to TRP along with their brakes. And there's a clutch also in the B knuckle that prevents this kind of rotation, so that the derailleur is more stable and your action only stays within the parallelogram and within the lower cage here. So this lever turns it on and off, and so you just flip it open to install and to remove your wheel, and you flip it back down, and boom, you have an active clutch here to keep the derailleur more stable, less chain slap, and more predictability with shifting. So
this is the blingiest, most trashy bike.
Well, it doesn't even stop there. We have these awesome gum-colored death grips from DMR, because scum, gold, it's all the same. And
these are great grips. I've run these.
Here's this awesome Euro trashy chain to complete the look. We needed it to pop off for the raw finish.
So if you're gonna run the most powerful brakes, you need to have enough traction. And this is a winter bike. You're gonna ride this thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna ride it all winter long. Our plan
Right.
is to go out and get it really, really muddy, and therefore you got.
So these are some gravity tires from WTB. The first one in your right hand is the Judge, which is a rear tire.
Rear tire.
It is, yeah, 2.4 rear, but
burly.
yes, huge.
Those are large side knobs.
Yeah, you could put this on a motorcycle and I think it'd be fine. And then the mate to it is the Verdict. Believe it or not, they even have a knobbier version of that. It's called the Verdict Wet. But I thought, I think we could probably get by with the standard Verdict. And especially we've had a dry fall, so we want this to be reasonable.
So this is not an uphill bicycle.
Not really. No. I'm gonna be pedaling it uphill.
Yeah,
but
it's a good thing you've got all those Zwift hours on and your watts are up.
Yeah.
Your FTP.
My FTP is skyrocketed right now.
Because you're gonna need all of it.
Yeah, I mean that with the weight of the coil up front, the overkill brakes, overkill tires.
You are definitely sending that stone wall gap once we get this thing going.
Yeah, we're sending the gap. Yeah, and the step off. So
these bikes are available?
They are. Well, most of them. Yeah, they're frames. So if one were to want to order one up, then we would basically have a conversation about a build kit.
Yeah, we could start scraping QDP and
VTI everywhere. We've got some stuff hanging around here. There are some drivetrain parts available if people are willing to let us be creative. There's some fork options out there.
No one's going to be willing to let us be creative now that they've seen this blingy thing.
Right.
They might actually. This might appeal to a certain type.
I think someone's going to want to buy this for sure, but it might set the standard too high for subsequent builds. So we'll see. But that's just all the more reason to just keep getting into it.
So curiosity.
Yeah.
What would we sell this bike for? I mean, we're not. You don't have to name the end price, but what do you think it would add up to if someone wanted to buy it?
Over $4,000. Yeah.
But not $7,000.
No, but over $4,000. I think this is a modest yet performance-oriented build.
Yeah.
Really nice parts, but not exorbitantly priced parts. So we're going to be running either a Samix crank, which is a Taiwanese brand, or the Shimano crank, whichever comes in first.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a Dior, right? Mm-hmm. So really, they're entry-level 12-speed stuff. This is a P&W Post, really nice 170 mil travel. Again, just meant to be kind of abused in our winter riding, but all really nice parts. This is what I would call luxury blue collar.
There you go. It's cheaper than any bike I've ridden in the last 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could say the same for myself. But this is kind of how I spec my own personal builds because I like moving parts around.
Yeah.
I can afford aluminum, but also I'm not worried to knock the bike over, have it collide with rocks. And two, I just like the idea of a burly bike that if I send it into a rock garden, it just carries on through. And so this is kind of in my wheelhouse in terms of how I like to build bikes anyway. But, I've built some dream builds for customers, and I'm happy to build a more budget-conscious dream build for a certain customer too. So
cool. So we're just waiting for wheels, really, right?
Yeah. Shimano is taking a sweet time, but it's ours. It's reserved, but they're having some issues with keeping up with orders. So
When's the earliest we're gonna get this thing out?
next week.
All right.
Yeah, late next week we'll be writing this.
Another business meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Sounds good.
one with notes, notepad.
Yeah.
Writing things down.
We might
maybe
we might need to take Todd Miller's GoPro here on I know for a little documentation.
I think that's perfect.
Shy of keeping minutes.
Well, what kind of people would we be if we didn't document what this thing could do?
There you go.
So,
All right.
all right,
Cool. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely.